Hi, this is John, and welcome to Cozy, Charming, Crazy Real Estate, where we discuss everything real estate. Today we're talking about the 7 deadly sins of home selling. Now, whether you're in California, where I live and practice real estate, or you're all the way on the other side of the country, or anywhere in between, you're going to find that these 7 deadly sins can work against you when you are trying to sell your home, equally in any market. So let's dive in and let's look at those 7 deadly sins. And luckily for us, we're also going to talk about the penance to reduce or eliminate these sins and keep them from letting us get the best price and terms for our home sale. Before we get into the 7 sins, let's talk about the consequences of those sins. And these are the 4 consequences that are universal across all of the sins. And they are less exposure to potential buyers, therefore fewer offers, therefore a reduced sales price, and a longer time on the market. And as we know, the longer a home is on the market, the less likely they are to get the best offers. So, sin number 1, clutter. And not just clutter present, but clutter hiding the best-selling features of the home. Too many pillows, too much furniture and wall coverings, crowded countertops, tables and floors. Now, if you have a beautiful stone countertop, you definitely don't want to put a lot of cookbooks, flowers, and cooking equipment on those countertops. You want to have them as bare as you can so that they can shine through. Same thing with floors. You might even want to take, if you have area rugs, roll them up, put them in storage so that those floors can shine as people come through. Last thing is too many personalized items. So let me describe in a little bit more detail what a personalized item is. When you go through your life, you have a lot of portraits done, if not portraits, photographs. You frame them, you put them up on the wall, and as you walk down your main hallway, it's a ride through memory lane. And you're seeing all these things with your family. Well, that's really good, but it's been proven in various studies that when a potential buyer comes in, what they're really trying to do is imagine themselves in that home, living it in the home, making it their home. And the studies have shown that when there are a lot of personalized items being shown, that person will sometimes, that buyer will sometimes believe that they are intruding on the home, which is a negative buying thought. We don't want negative buying thoughts. We want positive buying thoughts. So sometimes we might want to, just like we paint neutral colors on a wall, we might want to depersonalize some of our spaces so that it gives emotional room for that potential buyer to imagine themselves there. So what's our penance for sin number 1? Well, we're going to declutter. We're going to create, rent, or arrange storage space where we can put our clutter. We can identify and spotlight the selling features so we know where to remove clutter so that we can spotlight those good features. We can depersonalize, and we can consult our broker, because sometimes we have an emotional attachment to a lot of our stuff, and we should listen to our broker when he or she says, well, this looks a little cluttered here, that looks a little cluttered there. Definitely want to consult with your broker on your cluttering. Sin number 2, property not inspected and repaired. When a buyer goes into a home, they get a bad first impression if they see a lot of items that obviously need to be repaired. They get an emotional response of buyer reluctance. They think if they can see so much it needs to be repaired, how much can they not see? There might be a lot more. And if they feel that the house has not been maintained, that there are going to be a lot of repairs required on their part, they're going to start subtracting the cost of those repairs from their offer, and then they're going to add a repair margin. Now, here's an example of a repair margin. Let's say we know that the furnace, well, it's pretty much working, but it does need some repair. because maybe it doesn't blow as hard or get as hot, whatever. But we as sellers, we have a quote from ABC Heating and Air that says, hey, it's $5,000 to repair this thing. Well, a buyer's going to come in and he's going to say, okay, well, $5,000. However, we know that a lot of repairs end up costing more than the initial estimate. So we're going to put $8,000 in our budget, or really we're going to take $8,000 off of our offer as a repair margin. And we don't want them doing that, obviously. Repairs can cause escrow delays if during the inspection period property has not been inspected prior to being listed, and now it is inspected, and you find a lot of stuff that needs repairs. We don't know if the contractors are available soon enough to get it all done. So if the contractors can't come in and fix it immediately, it could delay escrow because we might not get the repairs done by the forecast escrow closing date. We may also find we're going to pay more for those repairs, and not just the fact that we didn't get a good quote from our contractors before. It could be that all of a sudden, to make our escrow schedule, we have to have our contractors, let's say, working overtime or on weekends. Now that's extra cost. So what's our penance? First, perform all the inspections and repairs before you put the home on the market. Get a good licensed general inspector, and also do all your specialized repairs. If you're in California, you're definitely going to do termite. If you have a well, you'll do well. Have a well inspection done. In many cities, states, counties, you might find that you have to do a sewer line inspection. You want that done. And then, as much as you can, repair everything. Now, I realize that you can't always repair everything. You may run out of money. Then you're going to have to disclose that to your buyer, and they might request a price adjustment, but you do have to disclose it, so you want to repair as much as you can. Sin number 3, for sale by only FSBO or limited service broker. If you want to sell FSBO or using a limited service broker, that means your property is going to, and what is a limited service broker? That might be someone that for X $100, they are going to put your home on the multiple listing service. And they might, for X plus a couple hundred more bucks, they might list your home on a couple other websites or other places where you can advertise property for sale. And but they are not going to get your property exposed as fully as a full service broker would. You're going to have limited property exposure. You will not have the benefit of a real estate professional providing unique and effective strategies and tactics. If you are not a real estate agent or an attorney yourself, and you're trying to sell it yourself, you may not be experienced with the processes that are required. Again, a licensed professional would be. You also have regulatory risk. In many cities and counties now, they have special local regulations that require certain disclosure documents, certain inspections that might not be required 5 miles away. So you need to know the regulatory environment in which you are selling that home. Again, a local professional real estate agent would. And then there's broker risk avoidance. And this is it's 3 words that basically mean that brokers, licensed brokers, are not going to feel comfortable giving advice to a seller who says, well, gosh, you're representing the buyer. We're all trying to get this deal done. Can you tell me how to do this, how to do that? A lot of brokers are going to say, hey, that creates a liability. I have now given you professional advice for which I am liable. I don't want to get into that situation. And you may even hear of brokers that tell their agents, please try to avoid working with sellers that are not represented by a competent representative, either an attorney or a licensed real estate professional. And so therefore, it could be that you end up with fewer people looking at the property and making offers. So what's our penance? Hire a full-service broker. Get those appropriate strategies, tactics, complete a marketing plan and implement it, a complete plan. And use someone who has good process administration. They might even have a transaction coordinator working in their office who every day processes sales and will definitely make sure that the transaction is handled smoothly. Also, you want someone who is a ruthless negotiator. If you are trying to sell your property and you're not used to negotiating, if you're not familiar with the sales process, you do not want to be sitting across the table from someone, quite frankly, like me. Because I will use my experience, I will use my unique strategies and tactics to get the best possible deal for my buyer. And if you are not skilled and you don't know how to counter some of my tactics and strategies, you are not going to be getting the deal that you should be getting. I am going to get more for my buyer than you can get for yourself as a seller. That is just the plain fact. So sin number 4, limit your showing hours. Have fewer showings. And if you do, you're probably going to have fewer offers and you're going to have your house on the market. If you can't, or if you don't allow people to come in and see your home, they don't get to see it, they don't get to make an offer, and your home is likely to sit for a longer period of time. So what's the penance? Vary showing times. Offer a mix of day and evening hours. Some people, they can come during the day. Some people work during the evening. They can only come in the day. Some people work in the day. They can only come in the evening. Weekends and weekends and weekdays, same thing. So try to block out time. And you'll also want to try as much as possible to have consecutive slots to reduce inconvenience. Now, in California, as we're recording this right now, there is a really bad shortage of homes for sale. So typically when a homeowner allows appointments to come in and see the house, they limit those appointments, typically the first viewing to maybe 20-30 minutes at the very most. And they'll try to do it maybe in a 4-hour block and get in 8 groups, depending upon the level of demand and interest in that property. But try to do consecutive slots to reduce the inconvenience to yourself. Also, when your agent is talking to buyers, find out what their preference is. You may learn during the process that certain days are better than others, and maybe you even want to not block days where nobody usually wants to come anyway, and that frees up time where you are not disturbed in the home. But do try to make sure that you do block the days when people tend to want to be there. And then finally, be flexible. Sin number 5, let pets roam free during the showings. And I can't think of a worse experience I've had personally as an agent with buyers in a home than large 100+ pound dogs jumping up and down on you as you're trying to simply walk through the home and see it. And it does happen all the time. So what happens? Well, a lot of people, if they find out that there are loose pets running around the home, they won't even go inside. They might show up at the front door, but when they hear the barking, they say, oh, you're going to put the dog away? No, well, I'm not going in, and they walk away. If they do go inside and they have that dog either barking or jumping on them or in some way disturbing the showing, they're going to rush through the house, and they might not get the opportunity to experience all the wonderful features, and therefore they're going to have a hurried showing, not maybe enough time to develop interest. Therefore, there's going to be fewer offers. There's also going to be liability. Let's say that 150-pound dog jumps up on somebody, rips their suit or dress, causes somebody to drop a camera or a phone that breaks. Now the homeowner is responsible for potentially injury, but also damage to personal property. And also, some buyers believe that the presence of large animals might be caused to believe that there is unseen damage caused by pets. So what's the penance for number 5? Very simply, get your animals off the site, off site and out of sight and out of sound, away from the property during showing hours. Whether you have to take them for a walk, take them to the park, take them to a neighbor's house, just have those animals gone. You don't want to lock them in just a room because to get them out of the way, because now the buyers can't see that room, they can't see the garage, wherever you might have the animals. So you don't want to have the animals anywhere where they can intrude on the potential buyer's ability to see part of the property. Also remember, when you remove your pets, remove the pet clutter. If you have 50 rubber bones sitting around in various places in the home, you might want to throw those in a box before anybody gets there. Remove pet clutter too, not just human. So number 6, go on vacation and be unreachable. This happens, again, more often than people believe, but it's not uncommon for someone to go on vacation and they're going to say, well, when I go on vacation, I turn off my phone, I totally relax. Well, please don't do that during the listing period when people may be looking at your home and making offers. And because what can happen? Well, because a lot of offers have a 1, 2, 3 day validity, they could expire before you find out that you even have the offer. You might miss negotiating opportunities. A lot of the better, sneakier, for lack of a better word, negotiating opportunities that come up have a very small window and you have to act quickly to snag them. So you want to be in constant availability so that you can react quickly to opportunities. If you don't, you might miss some deadlines. You also might find that your contract or getting into contract is delayed because you're not available to sign documents. And your closing of escrow may be delayed if you're not available to sign. Let's say on the 15th day of escrow, it's time to close the inspection contingencies. The buyer submits the form, you have to sign it. Wait a minute, you're gone. That could delay things and ultimately delay the close of escrow. So what's the penance? Well, be available and use technology. Doesn't mean you can't go on vacation, but you don't want to schedule blackout periods, times where you are out of communication for long times, like days. Try to return calls and emails same day. If you are in a negotiating phase, trying to get under contract, you might want to be available a little more often than once a day because things might be happening quickly and you want to snag the good deal that has been put on a table, not let it expire. You might want to also enter key dates into your planner so that you are especially available on some of those key dates when you know things are decisions will need to be made or documents will need to be signed. And also remember to utilize digital signing tools. Just about every agent has them. And if you're not really comfortable with them, you haven't used them before you go wherever you're going, talk to your agent about doing a practice signing. And that will just get you used to using the system. And finally, sin number 7. Require a sale contingency. Now, last week on Cozy, Charming, Crazy Real Estate, we went through a number of contingencies. That was the subject of the episode. If you want, go back and look at that. But this one, the sale contingency, is the most common is when you say, okay, I'm going to sell my house, but just so everyone knows, if you put in an offer, I'm going to have a contingency that says I have to find another house to move in before I will close escrow and move out of this one. Well, unless there is a cap of time on that, that it can't delay a close of escrow more than 30 days or something like that, a sale contingency scares away buyers. And because a lot of buyers are going to say, well, I've already sold my home, or my purchase of this home is not contingent on me selling a home, therefore I'm free to move in anytime, but I want to know when escrow is going to close. They're going to maybe not even look at the property if there's that kind of a contingency. Therefore, there's going to be fewer offers. And if they are still interested because it's such a doggone special property, they might put contingencies in too to protect themselves. And that could end up becoming such a quagmire that either it makes the transaction harder to manage, or it reduces the attractiveness of the price and terms at the end of the day. So those are the seven deadly sins of home selling. I hope you found that presentation interesting and that you will join us next week, because we're going to cover the 7 deadly sins of home buying. So if you're a buyer, please check us out next week. If you like this presentation, please hit like. If you have comments, either questions about today's presentation or suggestions for future presentations, please leave them in the comments below. Hope you will join us next week. Make sure you do by subscribing to our channel. And we thank you for being here. If you have any questions, please do leave a comment below. And we look forward to seeing you next week on Cozy, Charming, Crazy Real Estate. Take care.